Hey everyone, it's Thea. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to do a VR because my VR list is so long. I really need to get on top of it. And I couldn't pass this one up because it's super fun and it gives me an excuse to show off one of my treasures. We're going to save that one to the end though. But first let me tell you what the tag is. This is a VR to... hair. Oh my gosh, it's just everywhere all the time. Okay. This is a VR to Anna at Astral Tarot, of course. And we're going to do my Disheveled decks. I love how this particular tag kind of came out of the world because of a previous tag called My Shiny Decks, and Anna, being the genius that she is, was just like, I want to see everybody's like dirty and disheveled decks. So here we are. I'm going to share some of my oldest decks, some of the decks that I've got the most love and use on them, and some that I kind of may or may not have botched the mod job on. Because why not? They're pretty disheveled, much like myself. So here's to celebrating some items that have been around the block, you know, there and back again. so let's get into it. And I'm gonna try and do a hand video, guys. You're gonna see them up close, hopefully, if I can get this right. That would be great. I also have like a little bonus category too. I'm gonna throw in a couple books as well as like a story about a tarot book as well, because I think seeing disheveled tarot books is almost as fun as disheveled decks. So let's get into it. Okay, hey, welcome to my hands, which are also disheveled, very on brand for this particular video. Do you like our setup? We're very esoteric today. Got my little fur cloth, got our pillars, corresponding crystals, and our deck-in for today is out. One of these days I'll probably do a video about the deck and walk, but for right now we are in the Eight of Swords, Lord of Shortened Force, ready for a month of confusion. And then our corresponding majors, but anyway, I will do my best not to rock the table. This is going to be very interesting. Anyway, let's get into this. I'm not sure how I feel about hand videos yet. Disheveled deck number 1. I think I'll start. I'm just going to whip them out, because why the heck not? With this bad boy. This is my Edmund Duloc tarot, and all things considered, it doesn't actually look too bad, but the sides are a bit icky. They just are kind of gungy. See if I can get the light on it nice, but yeah, this is a Los Scarabeo deck. This is one of my earlier ones, and it got a lot of use. They hold up well. Like, the cardstock itself doesn't bow too bad. It's a little bit of a bow in it, but not too much. But yeah, no, the edges I've been through some things, so that's the Edmund Duloc tarot. I'm not going to linger too long on each of them. I think I've got quite a few that I wanted to go through, but yeah, this one, like, fronts are fine. So it's just a question of, you know, the edges being kind of gross. But anywho, disheveled deck number 1. Disheveled deck number 2. And I feel like, as it's been said before, that potentially these look worse in real life than they do on camera. These ones though, these are examples of boxes that just did not hold up. This one particularly, like, look at that. That is a disheveled deck. The box lives in a bag, but it just, yeah. However, the deck itself is actually very much still in the box. What'd you get? Is that everybody? No. Ouch, devils. Alright. Yeah, no, the deck itself is actually in pretty good condition, but just there's, yeah, no, it looks brand new. So the box has done its job, even though it's sacrificed itself in the process. So I thought that was kind of cute. So that was the Golden Art Nouveau, and this is my Morgan Greer, and I actually haven't had this that long, but again, the box is just toast. The deck itself, again, is perfectly fine. Maybe like a little bit of wear on the edges, but not too much. So it's just, I don't know, I thought that was fun. But the deck itself is not too disheveled. Here's one where the deck itself kind of is disheveled. This is my Smith-Waite Centennial Borderless edition. And the box on this one's okay, because this one lives in a cabinet, usually next to my desk, downstairs. And it has bowed. Look at that. I lovingly refer to it as a Libra shape. It's just from riffle shuffling it, and this is entirely due to the new US Games cardstock. But it does like a woof. And it's just from riffle shuffling it. Oh no! We lost our deck in. But yeah. It's getting a bit grungy, a bit worn. I use this one quite a bit. But, like, the thickness of the cardstock is good. I'm starting to get a bit of surface wear on the actual cards, but nothing too concerning. Yeah. And sometimes I'll drop a card on the floor, and then I'm like, oh no. So I put my foot on it and scrape it across the floor. So sometimes they get a bit of scratches on the front of them. This deck isn't too bad for that, but occasionally that happens. But anywho, mostly with this one, it's just pointing out the ridiculous bow in it. My little Libra-shaped deck. Yeah, that's the Smith-Waite Centennial Edition. I gotta go rescue my deck in 1 second. It didn't go far. Did not shorten the force on that one. Excuse the hands as well. Like, I've been in the garden, so, like, the garden is prickly. It beats me up sometimes. Very not nice. This is the deck that gets absolute, like, daily use. What's upside down? This is my Davis of Creation deck by Cilla Conway, and it's starting to show some wear. The edges have got some pretty gnarly chips on them. I love this deck, though. Just, you know, the energy of earth and cosmic spirits. It just, I don't know, it works really well for daily draws, which is what I use it for. I pretty much pull a card every day. The edges aren't too bad. I've edged them nicely, so they've held up, but it's more the surfaces of these ones that are starting to, oh my, this is a fun card. There's nothing on it. But yeah, they're starting to get a bit scuffed. On the lighter cards, there was a little bit of, like, bleed over. You can see there when I edged it, but I use this deck a lot. So I'm happy to see how this one's going to age. This one's going to turn into a nice, broken in, well-worn deck in a little while, but for now we're about halfway there. So that's my Davis of Creation. This one, my Majestic Earth, it's got a bit of wear, and this is entirely based on its status of gilding. So we've got some pretty gnarly chipping, especially on the corners. They're starting to wear pretty good. But the fronts are fine, so this one isn't too disheveled, but yeah. Like the bottom corners are all coming up. So we'll see how this one wears in the long run. This is kind of, I should be more precious with this because it's a difficult one to replace, being out of print and all that, but I don't know, I just use them. I shuffle them, bang them around. It's a deck of cards, man. So, yeah, I should have prefaced the whole video by saying that, unlike Anna, I'm not super nice to my decks. I tend to be a bit rough with them. So yeah. It's the Majestic Earth. And yeah, again, I think mostly it's just an edge situation, so it's the gilding on this one that's not holding up. This is my Hush Tarot. It has done the Libra shape thing as well. Not super badly, but, you know, enough. Again, that's the new US Games cardstock. If you riffle shuffle it, such as I do. Not to blow my deck out. And then you bridge it. You just encourage the Libra shape. And it grows over time, so that's fine. I don't really care, but it does that. And yeah, well, the edges are starting to pick up a bit of color. But yeah, that's my Hush Tarot. I use that one quite a bit. Jeremy Hush. This one, the next two, actually, yeah, the next two are entirely disheveled based on my modding status. So this is the Mystical Shaman Oracle by Mrs. Colette Byrne-Reed. I wanted to see what the fuss was about. Anyway, I edged it in gold, and I was impatient. It wasn't like taking really well to this particular type of cardstock, so I like squished it all on the sides and then while like holding it together, and it like bled in on the sides all the way around, but it actually turned out to be kind of cool. So the my bad edging job turned into kind of like a cool aging process on the deck. Yeah, there's a whole bunch, like all of that's my edging that kind of seeped in, but it looks really cool on this particular art style, and I think it like aged it. It made it quite cool. Look, Ouroboros, love it. So yeah, like there's some fun cards in this deck. Like I've been using this for daily draws for the last probably 3 weeks or so, which is kind of surprising me a little bit. I'm not super into it for clarifying, but as like a nice daily draw deck, it's kind of fun actually. So I don't know, we'll see. I thought I was gonna get rid of it, but maybe I won't. But anywho, yeah, that's all me. But yeah, so but the actual cardstock is fine. There's no peeling or any rips or tears in this one. This is just me botched the edging job. Like it's I can't sell this now, right? Because it's like I've ruined it, but that's fine. Yeah, but that's cool, eh? Neat. Turned out so neat. Anyway, so that's the Mystical Shaman Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. And then this next one, this is a trim job that I did on the Gaian Tarot. This one, this is the Schiffer edition, and as we all know, had like the gazillion borders on it. So there's this one, there was a blue one, and then it was edged with this like chunky silver, and like there was like these cards were massive. I couldn't shuffle them. I couldn't even overhand them. They were so big. So something had to be done. So I trimmed them again, and then I edged them in this beautiful blue color. And yeah, it's given it a bit of a worn look. This cardstock is, again, Schiffer cardstock. It's a little cardboardy, so it doesn't age well anyway. So I'm expecting this to lift soon, but it does have a very now aged look to it. But I will say that's not from use, that's just from my weird, mind you, my trim job's not too bad. I used a guillotine cutter. I've seen worse. Anywho, so that's that one. Okay, enough of these subpar disheveled decks. Let's see some real messy ones. I've got 3 left. Let's do the Marielle. This is the 2nd edition. I do now happily own a 1st edition, which is fun. I still need to bond with that one in a special way. I have things coming up to do so with that, but yeah, so far this was the one I'd used up until then, and it's starting to show some wear. Again, Schiffer cardstock, but don't mind. It's mostly the edges. Like the gilding just does not stand up. It looks worse in real life, I swear. It doesn't actually look too bad on camera, but I don't know. It's just, you know how it is. Yeah, it's not a nice, super smooth shuffle anymore. But that's fine. There's a few scuffs on it as well, probably from the same me dropping cards on the floor and scraping them across to pick them up. But yeah, that's my Marielle 2nd edition. She's not too bad, actually. Hellenic Oracle, though. Oh boy, this one. I use this like every day. So, understandably, she's been through it. Oh man, poor girl. Okay, and I've been meaning to edge. Like I couldn't decide what color to edge. I was like, do I do it in a bronze? Do I do it in like a black? Do I do it in a gold? I just couldn't pick. Now it's just kind of aged itself to this like patina color. I don't know, it's alright. It's taken on some age. But mostly where you see it is the surface. These cards of like, these are linen finish, right? But like as you riffle shuffle them, they start to wear. Hermes, boy. But oh yeah, here you can. This might have been one of the ones that you can see that I like scraped it across the floor. There's like, yeah, it's just been scratched all the heck. But it's just because I love it. And like I said, I'm not precious with these. I love it, but I want to use them. So the darker cards, it's easier to see. But yeah, for sure. Like you can see there's all little chips and bumps around the edges and the top there. That might just be from riffle shuffling too, actually. But yeah. Yep. It does not look like it did when it first got to me, but I love it. That just means I've broken it in. Yeah, look at that bottom. Whew, beautiful. And like, oh, maybe that's the picture. No, that's how the cards have worn. So if you use it every day, do know that it will show signs of wear. But I like it. It just means I love the deck. Messina. Yeah. Yep. So there we have it. The Hellenic Oracle. Disheveled. Much like myself. Okay, number one, last one, pièce de résistance, my most disheveled deck. This is probably what you're all here to see. This is my baby. This is my original Rider-Waite-Smith that I bought / was gifted, air quotes, back in 2000 and... Actually, even my pouch is getting a little disheveled. It's got some scratches on it. I think that's going to age nicely. 2003 or 4? 2003 or 2004. So this deck is not young. This deck was the only deck that I had until a couple of years ago. I think there was one random Egyptian oracle I had once, but I didn't understand because it wasn't tarot, and I'm like, this is wrong. This isn't tarot. And I was like, I don't like this, and I got rid of it. Probably shouldn't have. Looking at it now, I think I found it, and it's super expensive. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't use it anyway. It's not my thing. But this deck, look at this. Look at it. Okay, so this deck... It slept with me in my bed for the longest time. This deck has been anointed with all the things. This deck has had beeswax rubbed all over it. This deck has had encounters with... yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure I got my blood on here at some point. Like, this deck and me are... connected, and it's just the old yellow box Rider-Waite-Smith, but I didn't care. It was a tarot deck and it was mine, and I used it as you did. I only edged it within the last couple of years. Fluff. I don't know if you get fluff. But because the deck was so old already, when I edged it in blue, it just bled everywhere. So it just looks, rough. And for the longest time, it wouldn't hold the color, so it kept coming off on my hands. Ugh, it was just a disaster. So I could go in and do that thing where you like micro trim it to get a fresh edge, but I don't mind. Like, she's perfect. I don't need to get in there and change her. Look at that. That's like wax that's been stained blue from me trying to edge it. Where's the chariot? The chariot card has a big chunk missing out of it. Let me see if I can find him. Oh, it's right at the freaking end. There he is. Yeah, so the chariot card has a big old chunk there on the back. Missing. Peeled off, so I can't probably glue that down actually, but it's just all part of the character. But that's something to be said about this old cardstock. It has put up with riffle shuffling for like 20 years. This deck is 20 years old. 2 decades. This deck can vote. This deck can drink in America. Almost. But it's got a beautiful shuffle. Beautiful plaid backs. Like, it warms my heart. Like, that's what a tarot back looks like in my brain. Stunning. The bright yellows, the gray dismal skies. Isn't it so nice? Yeah, this is This is tarot for me. Yep, so there's that's my most disheveled deck. She gross, but it still works, and I love it. What does it smell like? Like a mix of paper and wax is kind of what it smells like. Most of the scent from the oils have kind of left. It's been a while since it's been anointed. I should probably re-anoint sometime soon. But yeah. Okay, so that's enough of that one. That's my most disheveled deck. My old Rider-Waite-Smith that I got when I was in high school and used exclusively for many decades. Yeah. Neat. Okay. And a couple of books. This one isn't actually that disheveled because I had to repurchase it, but this is the book that I learned tarot with. So I got this and this deck at the same time, and that was all I needed. This was like before the internet was like as widespread as it is now. Like our cell phones didn't have internet on them. You could just call people and text, and then there was a calculator app, and if you were lucky you had that worm game. Otherwise, like, there was no looking up card meanings on the fly, so having this little pocket book of tarot meanings was what I learned on, and I remember laying all the cards out on my kitchen table, like looking at all of them in order and like studying each of them with the book really intensely. Like, yeah, those were the days, man. And that was it. There was no other resources. I wasn't like in a rush to find other tarot books because I'm like, nope, I got the meanings right here. That's everything you need to know. And then kind of went from there. So what more I had to learn about it. But I never had like a real mentor or anything. Like the shop I bought it from just was like, oh, I'll order it in for you special. So it was a witchy shop, but they didn't actually have any tarot decks in at them. They had to order it for me special, and then yeah, I got it, and then they're like, here you go, have fun, the end. And like, no one ever taught me tarot until I like started watching YouTube later on, and then picked up on certain things that I didn't know, and thus expanded on and fell down the rabbit hole of the weeds, so to speak, as Wendy calls it. But yes, so anyway, that one, we're back talking about it again. I meant the book. But yeah, this was the first book, and even this copy is getting on. But my old one, it was like the spine was broken right down the middle, pages were falling out everywhere. I had some taped in, but yeah, that it had seen a lot. And then my other tarot book that's pretty disheveled is my 78 Degrees of Wisdom. I'm gonna try not to light it on fire here, but I do have, oops, quite a bit of highlighting certain areas. Yeah, love the book. Just going through. But yeah, this was a new book when I got it, but it has been a handy and very great reference. So highly recommend this to everybody if you're just looking for, you know, learning tarot. It's great. It has lots and lots of grid information in like a practical sense. It's not like super esoteric at all. It gives you a jumping off point. I do recommend going in and like, if you want to use it as like a handy quick reference, go in and highlight like because it's a couple pages per card usually, especially with the majors of card meanings. So go in and highlight the bit that gives yourself a jumping off point when you're just looking for card meanings in a reading, instead of having to read like 3 pages each card you pull, sort of dealy. So anywho, that's a disheveled book. Could be more disheveled, but hey, we're here, why not? So yeah, that's it for disheveled things. I'm gonna bring out my doozy of a deck for funsies. But thank you, Anna, so much for creating this wonderful tag and giving us the opportunity to share stories about our tarot decks and about where they've been when they've traveled with us, different places, gone to different countries, lived in the bottom of backpacks. I want to hear all the stories. I'm so nosy. But yeah, no, just like, you know, objects have a weird life of their own, and being able to kind of track that in the wear and tear they've gotten is a beautiful thing. So super cool. I love seeing used decks. That's awesome. So yes, thank you very much. If you do the tag, please let me know. I do want to watch. I do want to see. Sorry, I'm just mesmerized by this thing. It's something. Look Look at this. Look at this Eight of Cups. Been through it. Anyway, yes, I will stop with that. I'll be here all day. Okay. But yes, as I said, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see all of you fine people in my next video.